Well, talking about the international game, how different is it between the various different countries? Obviously, with a New Zealand background, how different do New Zealand approach it to, say, England, who've gone more down the route of centrally contracted players?
I think England have obviously they put a big resource into it with a real focus, and I think part of that is the setups too. When you have the club contracting, central contracting, all that sort of thing. There's obviously various issues depending on which for both countries, if you like. I think the New Zealand model is. I think the difference at Gold Coast was 4 or 5 of the New Zealand players came from playing provincial rugby, provincial 15s the week before the tournament. So Tim Mickelson, DJ Forbes had gone in within a week, so they didn't have the 7 specific build up to that tournament, yet still made a final. Yeah. I think the New Zealand model is there, and this probably goes back to when it first started going into the World Series, and I think what Gordon Titchens did is he had 4 or 5 key guys who were the core, your Eric Rushers, who probably did specialise in 7s at the time, while feeding you the young talented players in, your Muleinas, your Rokathokos, your Liam Messams would come in and do a year, maybe 3 within that program, and then until they sort of established themselves at Super Rugby or All Black Rugby, and then you didn't, then they weren't used. Although then at the Commonwealth Games, he'd always give himself the ability to bring back a Christian Cullen or a Liam Messam, for example, Jose Gear. So I think yes, there's like a spine of the team of specialists, but because 7s probably wasn't enough to hold those guys, they had to let them play provincial rugby as well. Because a lot of those guys probably have aspirations within 15s and were using the 7s as a platform. Yet there are some guys who are saying, well, I'm not going to be a Super Rugby player, but 7s is going to give me a very enjoyable career and a career in rugby.